Okay, Slide Guitar Music. It comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Evo Network and Rumble. Check us out, subscribe, type in Newswire on Rumble and also on YouTube. Again, it fired off. I don't know what the world's coming to of that. Check us out, subscribe, hit the like button, thumbs up button on those two. If you're watching on those, Dr. Kelly Victory should be with us at the bottom of the hour as she usually is. Monday of that. It's nice when the equipment is poking you in the side of the head. Oh, what a raucous week it's been. It will continue to be. We'll get into the great MoV Unified School District bond debate. Tax increase, or is it, or how long? That will start into it. Of that, the Press Enterprise did a fairly lengthy article and photo shoot on it this weekend. You will never guess who's the star of the show, but we'll get into that later. Kamala Harris. Is she a ding-dong? Now there's a whole bit going, it's racist because you called her a ding-dong. Senator Joe Kennedy, I guess, called her a ding-dong somewhere on that. And now, of course, all the chattering class that want to beat you into submission over all this stuff. Whenever you hear them shout racist, sexist, all this other ist, they're covering up. They are the sexists and the racists that are doing it. That's why they're shouting it so loud. They're waving the red flag. They're trying to distract your attention like the magician does. They want to keep you from the truth. Gets into this whole equality thing, and we'll get into that when Dr. Kelly comes on. But she is. She is a ding-dong. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know how she got her start in politics. Under the desk of then Mayor Willie Brown. That's how she got her first job as district attorney of the city, county, same thing, of San Francisco. And that's how she got her other jobs. Main guy that promoted her for attorney general and then the Senate was none other than Willie Brown. But she is. We'll have some tape here in a little bit. One of her cases when her first job as the mighty prosecutor they're trying to portray her as. We have some video of a case when she was on her first public job as prosecutor, district attorney, city attorney for the city, county of San Francisco. I hadn't even heard of this one. She's incompetent. She does not know what she's doing. She's a witch and a bitch. Nobody, if she has a dog or a cat, I'm sure they don't like her either. Highest turnover, hated in every public job she's had. So, I don't know. Neil Cavuto, who used to be on Fox Business, now he's on Fox News, used to be a pretty good guy. I don't know where he jumped off the tracks. But here he is with, I called him Joe Kennedy. John Kennedy, the senator, the current senator. I guess the former president was a senator too. I guess we've had 2 John Kennedys as senator. Here's the clip. Here we go.
I don't care about her race. I care about her
Then why
competence.
call her a ding-dong? And
I'm telling you what the polling shows.
He's calling her a ding-dong because she is a ding-dong. Despite this great, and don't worry about the panic. Don't panic. This is the no panic edition. No time to panic. She's another Corey Jackson. Look at how Corey Jackson has come unhinged. All you got to do is let the dude roll. And you're going to see what, like in Corey Jackson, you're going to see the psycho he is. He tries to keep it down just like, she tries to keep it on the down low like Kamala does. And again, there's nothing to do with the skin tone of brown of your skin. You're either a ding-dong or you're not. You're either a psycho or you're not. If you're a human being of the human race, it can be anything in the parameters. So, what Cavuto should have said, you mean what? Why call her a ding-dong? You're absolutely stating the fact. Along with a cognitive test, let's have an IQ test on Kamala Harris. Intelligence you can measure. Intelligence is different than smart. Smart can be anything you want. Smart's an esoteric term. Intelligence you can quantify. Let's see if Miss Kamala, like Hillary before him, who was declared the smartest woman in the world, let's see if she can qualify to be a Mensa member, the exclusive club. I think you have to have an IQ of 130 or better. And you have to go through all sorts of statistical analysis on your intelligence, which can be measured, before you're accepted into that club. Again, intelligence can be scientifically measured. It's like a cognitive test. They go through the test and say, you know, this dude's either got it or he hasn't. But in order to hide the truth, oh, it's racist to call her a ding-dong. No, it isn't, because she is. Prove me and John Kennedy wrong. Don't shout a bunch of hyperbole BS. Don't try to deflect. State your case. Why, I'm not for fracking before I was for fracking. Kamala Harris. The whole gamut of that woman. She's a bumbling idiot. She can put on a smile. As they say, they could put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You're not changing the stripes of the zebra of Kamala Harris. She is what she is. She's 57 years old. You don't change much after 57. You're pretty locked into whatever you are. Here's more with Cavuto and Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana.
I'm telling you what the polling shows. And it does. And I'll be glad to sit down with you and walk you through the polls.
Please do, because I never know when it's constructed to call people names, you know, Senator. I just, on the left or the right.
Well,
but
I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings, but Let me say it again.
Senator, you keep bringing it back to my feelings. My feelings matter a little. All I'm telling you is if you think you can gain this November calling people names, I don't know how far that goes, left or right, but we'll see. It's still early, to your point.
Your feelings seem to me like they matter to you a lot, Neil, and I'm trying to be objective here. Let me say it again.
Are you really being objective, Senator? I just think you've got a bash-a-thon, a name-calling at her. If you call that being objective, I don't know. But, Senator, I do want to thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me, Neil. I hope you have a better day.
Oh, Neil didn't like being called out on that. Oh, well, you know, this whole, if you use a word and somebody's feelings get hurt, you can never use the word again. You know, I'm tired of this no-balls society. That you can't call a cat, a dog, red is red, man is man, woman is woman. Simple. Oh, well, you know, somebody might not identify, I don't care what they identify with, something called science of physiology. You are what you are. So let's pull back the BS. Let's call things as they are. And if people get their feelings hurt, too bad. Change the channel. Stick your head in the sand. Vote for the stupids again, like you did in majority in 2020, and see how it works out for you. But don't frickin' complain about it. The history of this stuff, we do not need to repeat the mistakes of the past. Period. End of story. Along with no fracking, the whole border czar thing, she was the border czar. She was a point person on the border. She didn't just was assigned to go down to talk to the president of Mexico or whomever. She was put in charge. Article after article in the Mockingbird media said she was it in 2021. Right, 2 months out, in March of 2021, it was Kamala's deal on the border. Please listen to Pocahontas, Liz Warren.
The border, to have more resources in the states and cities that are supporting migrants. And I believe we need to create a pathway to citizenship. All of that is a part of what we need to do for comprehensive immigration reform. Kamala Harris will work with Congress and get that done. The border, to have more resources.
Kamala Harris will work with Congress to legalize the 10, 20, 30 million that have come across and wave more across. They're even saying, the Border Patrol's down there saying this bogus numbers of, we've cut illegal border crossings by 50%. 50%? How about 147% of Hugo Chavez rate? After you've totally fouled it up, worst immigration policy in the whole freaking wide world. And you can't figure it out. And Pocahontas is saying no. She was cheerleading the executive order, the first thing Joe Biden signed out of his office. Waved them all in. Come on, that mean racist Trump, all that, orange man bad. This is what you got. This case was interesting. This is Kamala Harris. Again, her first job. Well, her second job. Her first job was under the desk of then Mayor Willie Brown. Her second job, after being under the desk, was being appointed the city attorney, which Willie Brown could do, of the city county of San Francisco, one and the same. This is a Vice video. It's just released, I think, yesterday. Here we go.
Never in a million years I would have thought that they were going to charge me for Sales murder. I never talked to no detective, no police officer, no DA, nobody.
Just arrested and then charged?
Arrested and charged, that's it.
Was the first time you saw Kamala Harris in person the day that the verdict was issued?
She showed up at the two most pivotal times in this first trial, and me being convicted and me being sentenced. She wanted to be present for a celebration of a conviction.
That's what it felt like, a celebration?
A celebration, that's what it felt like. The reactions I get when I tell people my story is, they say it's the worst nightmare, you know?
She wanted to celebrate the conviction of a black man. Kamala, who bailed out all the terrorists that went and looted, took over property, and killed everyone up into cops. She wanted to celebrate this dude's conviction. This is your tough prosecutor you've been hearing about.
You know, it's the closest thing to dying.
Jamal, I'm going to read you a quote real quick. The job of a progressive prosecutor is to look out for those overlooked, to speak up for those whose voices aren't being heard, to see and address the causes of crime, not just their consequences, and to shine a light on the inequality and unfairness that lead to injustice. It is to recognize that not everyone needs punishment, that what many need, quite obviously, is help. Kamala Harris wrote that in her book, The Truths We Hold. Does that sound consistent with the kind of, with the brand of justice that you saw administered by offices that she was running?
It definitely sounds like Kamala Harris right now as a senator. But at the time of her being the head district attorney of San Francisco, that is almost polar opposite of what I felt and what our community felt in San Francisco.
So Jamal, where are we?
Right now we are in Sunnydale Projects, where I was born and raised at. This isn't a place that you'll want to bring outsiders into, and a place that they don't want to go. This ain't a place that feels comfortable. It feels like you might get robbed, you might get shot.
Police were keeping files on you, your brothers, and other people who were living in Sunnydale from a very young age.
They already had me labeled, because I'm in this community, as a potential gang member, potential killer, potential drug dealer. You gotta wake up to the fact that, you know, things are set up against us.
There is a conspiracy.
Yes.
It happened to you.
Exactly. There is
proven in court.
Absolutely. Places like this have been developed for predominantly African-American people to not be able to succeed beyond it.
Yeah. What did you know about Kamala Harris? What did you know about San Francisco having a black DA?
Nobody in the hood ever worried or focused on the DA position in general, but people did focus on it just a tad bit, that it was black, and feeling like, okay, this black lady in office, Kamala Harris, she was gonna understand where we come from, you know, and have more of a sympathetic way of prosecuting people that come from our communities who have been plagued with no opportunities. This is Hunter's Point, where these different projects and communities used to really war with each other.
Jamal, in July 2007, what's going on in your life at that point?
I had recently just came off of I Love New York, and also that's when my friend Sel Kuka got killed.
More than a year goes by, and no one's been arrested in the case. You hadn't even been questioned.
Haven't even been questioned, no. The police was still, trying to get a conviction by all means necessary. When I was arrested for it, the community knew I didn't do it. And it was here we go again. See, this is why we don't trust, law enforcement, because it gets to a point where somebody who didn't do something goes to jail for it. I don't have no history of crime. What's up, boy?
As it goes on to state, he spent 7 years in jail, finally got the evidence released showing that he was innocent. The city of San Francisco had to pay to this gentleman $13 million. Now, I will say this. A lot of guys, and I'm as pro-cop as just about anybody, but they have a point. Look at what he said. He said exactly what Mason Weaver and a lot of other people have said on this show. They want to keep you enslaved. You are the slaves to them, the Kamala Harrises, as a slave master. And if you get out of line, or if they don't like what you're doing, or if you're really telling the truth, they're going to shut you up in any other way. That's the first case of many of this great prosecutor that you're being portrayed on. This is why this Kamala Harris House of Cards is going to crash and burn like you've never seen it before. Switching gears before we get to the bottom of the hour and get to Kelly Victory, wanted to update you, mainly because it came out in the Press Enterprise with this very famous photo that's kind of going around. There's a $240 million school bond on the November ballot in Moreno Valley. That was the meeting, school board meeting, Tuesday. I had a meeting. The superintendent, the RU, called me in, wanted to have a meeting about it today. Said, well, it's a little bit late, but we'll talk about it. So we're going to have some further discussions of that. He said, give him a chance, so I will. I will update you, but I wanted to say because Joanne Steffen, Alicia Espinoza, myself, Luis Palomares, Jeff Gaiba were all quoted in the article of that. And I don't know why they focus so much on me. Maybe because of this. Let's see if we can blow her up a little bit. As we roll through the pictures of that, there's some of the, well, these things always work out nice when you're trying to move them. But anyway, they had some good pictures of all of us there. And it never ceases to amaze me how they can deny the truth. We're going to get into, and I put a challenge out there in the post Alicia Espinoza made on Moreno Valley Matters. Prove me wrong. It's what I told DeRuve and all their staff, school board members, and everybody else. It's a tax increase. It's going to be an increase in assessments, even though the law doesn't change. Anybody who does not convey that does not, as I've said, have an understanding of math, logic, or even any sense of fairness and honesty. When, oh, we're going to extend it for a little time, is 30 years I don't know how you get a bigger deception, if not outright lie, of that. So we'll see how the process moves forward. It will definitely be interesting. It will definitely be a sight to see. I'm curious to see how this is going to shake out. I think the possibility of them attracting this bond and making it work are not that well. Oh, here we go. There's Alicia Espinoza. Let's see. They caught Jeff Gaiba in there. He was there. There's the Roof superintendent. Somebody likes to point his finger a lot. I wonder why it was such a focus of that. We'll play some of the clips in the coming weeks. But I had a pretty good conversation with the Roof, and I want to give him a chance to get his staff in on it. And again, I invite them to come and sit in the seats right next to me for however long it takes.
All right, you can finally hear me here, Roy. It's about
Yes, I can hear you.
10 seconds out. Only took me 3 tries. Make sure you give Mitch a call after the show, okay?
Sure. Okay.
Bye.
.com.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this person. Not necessarily those of radio producer employees or affiliates.
There's Suffocates Live guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast video audience in the Evil FB Network and Rumble and YouTube. Check us out, subscribe on Rumble and YouTube. We like Rumble, but hey, if you like YouTube, hey, they seem to be keeping us on, so hey, you gotta ride the wave as it is. We asked a question. John Kennedy, the senator, called Kamala Harris a ding-dong. And he's correct. We went through that. And I didn't know about this, but we previewed her first, or one of her first prosecutorial cases in the city of San Francisco that wound up costing the city of San Francisco, I believe, $13 million was the number quoted. This is the prosecutor, the world's greatest prosecutor you've been hearing about all week. Nobody likes her. Nobody that's worked with her likes her. Doesn't matter where she's been. She is terrible to work for. She will flip-flop, she will say anything, she will do anything to retain power and keep you on the plantation. That's the fact, Jack. No possible way that any sane society would elect Kamala Harris to lead anything, not even the sewer cleaning commission of the city of San Francisco or anything else. We are in extremely deep trouble if they convince us that the world's worst prosecutor, the world's worst border czar, the woman that said no fracking when even Barack Obama was opening it up. The Messiah Barack Obama agreed with the evil Donald Trump, the racist Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, who actually got the fracking done and had us on the way, had us as a net exporter of energy on our way to total energy independence if we would have stayed the course in 2020. This is what we got to look forward to, but maybe talk about this and other stuff. We have, as I've determined, heard the greatest physician in all the world, supreme expert on COVID-19 and just about everything else, Dr. Kelly Victory. Welcome to IE Newswire with Roy.
Hey, Roy, I got to tell you, the best thing about Kamala Harris is that she replaced Hillary Clinton as the most unlikable politician in recorded history. Truly. And I think Hillary Clinton's got to be, doing the happy dance going, oh, finally, somebody less likable than me. Oh, my Lord.
100%. That's what I didn't think. I didn't think in my lifetime they would find a woman that we could dislike, and I'm trying to be kind again. I'm not going to call her a ding-dong like John Kennedy did, but I will. But I never thought in my lifetime we would find another political figure of the smarter half of the population that could be more hated, or even of that. Even whatever you want to take Hillary, she's not stupid. Kamala Harris is all the witchy-bitchy things about Hillary, and she is stupid, Dr. Kelly.
I agree. And frankly, the idea that they're trying to repackage her, Roy, is something other than the wild, far, far left liberal is really insulting. She has a terrible, terrible reputation, her history as a prosecutor. She, put in prison people who smoked pot and then laughed about it because she'd smoked so much pot herself. She got everywhere she got it politically the good old-fashioned way, and that wasn't by brains. So truly, she is not what we need. Stupid, I can almost deal with stupid. She has unbelievably radical left-wing ideas. She came right out and said she believes in equality, equity, that, we want, everyone has to end up in the same place. I mean, that's another word for communism, for socialism. That is not what this country was predicated on. So she is bad news, and we better hope that they don't, beg, lie, and cheat to get her into office.
I called this the no panic edition today. I'm not panicking yet. Now, if this trend continues for another 2 months, then it's time to push the red panic button. But no matter what, you cannot change the stripes on a zebra and all that other stuff. You cannot change Kamala Harris. She's 57 years old. You get to be 57 years old, you're not changing. You're pretty much locked in as how you were, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. You're not going to make a brain surgeon out of Kamala Harris at this point, in 57 years old. She is what she is. Once she has the level of scrutiny, and if you haven't, go check out in the first half hour of the show. When she was prosecutor, one of her first cases as the city attorney of that, she accused a young black man, got him convicted of murder. He spent 7 years in prison. His lawyers got him out because he didn't do the crime, and it cost the city of San Francisco $13 million. And that dude has a much darker skin tone of brown than Kamala Harris ever thought about, even if they painted her with the best spray paint in the world, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree, and this is her entire history. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of these cases, Roy. She was horrible as a prosecutor. She was behind the defund the police movement. She said she would ban fracking. She believes in abortion up to and including the time of birth. I don't even know, you just can't say enough bad stuff about her. On top of it, she's a willing puppet. And that, I think, is what's the scariest part of all. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, is his own man. He isn't going to kowtow to anybody, certainly not any foreign leaders, and he's not going to kowtow even to his own party. So Kamala Harris, on the other hand, is a puppet. She will do whatever she is told to do. And so if you combine those two things, somebody who's very happy with a profoundly radical, profoundly left-wing agenda, and then add on top of it that she will do whatever she's told to do by Barack Obama and the powers that be that are directing this this show, then that's a very scary thing to contend with.
I want to shift gears a little bit because we've had all this wholesale equity, equality, all this other stuff. It has always been my contention that word and how they try to sell it like they're trying to sell Kamala Harris as the greatest woman, smarter than Hillary Clinton, the smartest woman of all time up to this point. They've been trying to sell this as, oh, everybody equal and this and everything will be hunky-dory. And it's, it's the evil white man or whatever they did that's suppressing you and all that. And if you get rid of him, everything will be great. What this is about, and whenever you hear these words of that, or all of them, what they're trying to do is strip you of your humanity. They want to, and you really think about it and you analyze it. If everybody is equal, whether you don't get out of bed all day or you bust your tail, if I'm lazy, I don't get out of bed or nothing, and you, Dr. Kelly, are busting your butt 24/7, 365, and I'm living I get the same as you do. I'm rewarded the same as you. That's stripping you of your humanity. That is making a slave out of you. So whenever you hear these words, you need to say, oh, you're talking about making us all the 21st century slaves of the world, because I believe that's what they're trying to do. Tell me I'm wrong, Dr. Kelly.
No, that's exactly right. And that's why I said it's fundamentally socialism. And it extinguishes the will to succeed, the will to excel. If you know you're going to be guaranteed the same thing as the guy next to you, why should you study for the test? Why should you work hard? Why should you get up? If you are guaranteed to end up in the same place, what is the motivation to work hard, to toil, to be innovative, to be, all of those things that really got us where we are as a country? And the answer is there's nothing. If you can be guaranteed, this is the mentality of the everybody gets a trophy, everybody makes the team, everybody passes the test, everybody, ends up, getting the award, when in fact it should only go to those. We should have a meritocracy, not this idea of equity where everybody's going to somehow be guaranteed that regardless of their ability, regardless of their hard work, that they'll end up in the same place. The idea of the United States was that everyone was supposed to be given a chance. You're all going to everyone gets to stand up and, toe the line at the race. It doesn't mean we're all going to cross the finish line. It just means you get an opportunity to play, to get to the starting line.
100%. And that's what, like I say, we've got to change the rhetoric and we've got to define what words really mean. We've got to stop lying about that. I did it earlier. We had a bond here in Moreno Valley. The school bond, they're trying to extend for 30 years. And they were up there trying to tell us that, it was only a little bit. And I shouted out from the audience, tell them how many, 30 years. They think they can, and I'm talking about the establishment who's been hooked into this stuff and all of them, they think they can sell us anything. They're so emboldened, they think they can sell us Kamala Harris, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree. And they really are trying. They are, first of all, they just keep repeating the same lies over and over again. For example, not only that all of a sudden she wasn't the border czar, I mean, as if they memory hold that, as if, there aren't just dozens and dozens of references by multiple politicians, including Joe Biden, calling her the border sign and anointing her as the border czar. On top of it, they're out there every day, including just today, Joe Biden marched out and said that the reason we need to pack this, the Supreme Court and put term limits on the Supreme Court and do things that fundamentally will require an amendment to the Constitution is because they want to rewrite history. They are saying, Joe Biden said today, Donald Trump is going to push this 2025 agenda. 2025 is not a Donald Trump invention. That came out of the Heritage Foundation. He has said, frankly, he doesn't agree with much of what's in it. But the Democrats will stand up and bold-faced lie about things over and over again. And yes, they are rewriting history. They think they can sell you Kamala Harris because they simply will deny that she did or said the things that she did and said.
100%. It's truly amazing to me to watch this, to watch him basically come apart. Now, another thing about this whole, and you heard it today, oh, she's raised $200 million in a week from Act Blue and stuff. The great, formerly of Project Veritas, I think it's O'Keefe Media Group now, the great James O'Keefe had this. He went and knocked on people's doors. Everyday Americans that maybe gave 5, 10, maybe $100 to a political candidate. Did you make 2,000 separate donations for $50,000 to the Biden-Harris campaign or whatever senator campaign or whatever? And they're saying, you got to be kidding. And he's giving them the name, their address, their name of this. I've said this along with Little Bankman Fried and Zelensky and all this stuff with the Ukraine war and however all this stuff works with Soros and all this other stuff. They created such a circle of a money trail of going it. But basically, like with the Ukraine deal, they have taken our tax dollars at the point of a gun, given them to Zelensky. Zelensky's taken, and his 10 oligarchs have taken a 60% of whatever hundreds of billions of dollars, cut off the top. They sent 30% of it back through all this other stuff, and maybe spent 10% to the soldiers that are actually getting killed in the Ukraine war. That's how freaking insane we have been, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree, and it's really tragic. You know, I was likening this, and I'm dating myself here, but if you remember the old show, The Twilight Zone, where, you know, the entire premise of that show was what you are seeing in front of your eyes isn't real, okay? Everything is an illusion. Everything is artificial intelligence. Everything, don't believe your lying eyes. That is what I feel like is going on right now in the world today, except it's not a show. It's real. You know, it's actually what's happening. They are screwing with nobody knows what to believe anymore, Roy. they know, you don't know, is that Joe Biden up there? Or is that a body double with a face mask? You know, did actually some kid on a roof try to shoot Donald Trump, or was that the Secret Service? You know, is there actually a war in Ukraine, or are we just funneling U.S. taxpayer dollars, you know, over to some more nefarious, you know, efforts that are going on? Nobody knows what's real anymore, and they are so capable at covering it up that, frankly, it's very hard to follow the trail. This is the strangest time in history, and certainly in my life. I don't know what to believe anymore, and it's very hard for the average person to even know where to go to get the information.
You bring up, as a kid, one of my favorite shows to watch back then was The Twilight Zone, and people are gonna you know think they're gonna want to hang themselves because I'm gonna say it again. 1961 episode, The Obsolete Man. If you want, Rod Serling, 63 years ago, almost to a T, predicted what we are living today.
Yeah.
You watch that 22 minutes of that episode, and you'll go, holy cow. It's talking about this equality and all this stuff. And that's why I'm talking about of this. He put it all on there, and it's got Burgess Meredith plays the character that they're going to kill of that, because he's not conforming, you're not conforming to and bowing down and taking the equality from the state, the equity and all this. And man, if that doesn't describe what we are living in 2024 on July 29th, I don't know what it's eerie that he could have seen where we were going 63 years ago, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree, and that's what is really hit me just recently, that we are living the Twilight Zone. There's so many things. You know, these people who were prescient, whether it was Rod Serling, or whether you read 1984, is it George Orwell or Ayn Rand, this is what, where the old adage, if you don't know your history, you are destined to repeat it. There were people who warned us about this. Ronald Reagan warned us about this. Our founding fathers, Roy, warned us about this. They said this is, the greatest experiment, Republic's the greatest experiment if we can keep it. And we are on the verge, and this is not hyperbole, of losing it. If we do not get somebody, in the Oval Office next year, after this November election, who can actually bring us back to our foundational, values, to bring us back to the Constitution, to bring us back, then we are lost forever. We don't have another 4 years. You can't say, well, we'll dust it back off and do it in 2028. There will be no United States of America in 2028.
No, you're right on the Ronald Reagan. And another one to watch. If you want to see somebody who predicted this in 64, Ronald Reagan endorsing Barry Goldwater for president in 64. He laid all this stuff out. We got a couple minutes left. Is there anything on the COVID front or anything developing on that we should know about?
Well, I think no, other than that they are not going to back off. They are still pushing these shots, which is absolutely unconscionable. The data continue to mount, Roy, on the adverse events. There's no question that the numbers just get worse and worse and worse about turbo cancers. We still are seeing these massive blood clots. We're seeing autoimmune issues in children, neurologic problems. But they're going to continue to push those. Keep waiting for the surprise, the disease X. It's probably going to be bird flu of one version or another. And they will try to lock everybody down and raise the fear flag again. So be ready for it, because that way when it happens, you won't be caught off guard and you can say, hey, I'm taking this one with a grain of salt. I'm going to follow common sense and I'm not buying into their fear mongering.
100%. We're in for another 3+ months of some very interesting times. Like I say, I'm not panicking yet. I think it's odds are overwhelmingly that it's going to subside. If we're still in this position 2 months from now, then it's time to start getting panicked. But we'll see. It's going to be very interesting, and we'll report on it and comment on it on the days and weeks to come. Thanks for being on the show. We'll do this again soon, Dr. Kelly.
It sounds great. Thanks, Roy.
Yeah, that's a great Dr. Kelly Victory, saying it only as she can. And again, like I say, that I'm not panicked about it now. I think we're in fairly decent shape. Unless Kamala has went through some sort of brain transfusion or brain replacement or something, she's going to implode. Her record is her record. It's been going all over. And when she has to defend her record, starting with her record as a prosecutor in the city of San Francisco, she's probably going to fall like a house of cards worse than Hillary Clinton did. So, again, if we're still in this position, in another 60 days, then it's time to start thinking, oh, blank. I don't think we're going to be there. I'm relatively almost confident that's not going to happen. You never say never, because I've had to eat that word too many times. And you never take anything for granted until the last vote is counted in politics. We need to get Steve Cooley. He ran for Attorney General against Harris. I think it was 2014. Steve Cooley led all the way till they got to the provisional ballots. Remember, the bond was, that latest bond in March was even actually ahead until those provisional ballots from Alameda County came in right at the last minute and put that final margin of error to pass the bond, just barely, that they thought they were going to pass way over 2-1. here in the state of California. So, again, like I said, don't panic yet, but don't give up. Don't get complacent. We still got a lot of work to do. It's full steam ahead, all hands on deck for at least another 3+ months. As you know, I've been talking about standing up for our country, doing something. These big box stores stayed open while the little guys closed. Will our voices be heard? Does voting with our dollars work? PatriotSwitch.com gives patriots the power to walk away from the big box stores forever. Stop supporting the enemies of freedom now. That's why PatriotSwitch.com was created, for those who support America. PatriotSwitch.com. Is your car doing the hucklebuck and afraid you will be stuck? Well, head on down to Toyota of San Bernardino, Nissan of San Bernardino, Subaru of San Bernardino, in the San Bernardino Auto Mall, and catch a Camry, look ravishing in a Rogue, or be styling in a Subaru. Don't forget I-10 Toyota in Indio for those of you in the lower desert. You deserve to be the happiest human on the planet. So head on down to one of these 4 great dealerships for the car of your dreams. Spread the word. IE Newswire is now on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 p.m. on Rumble and KMET 1490 AM, 5:30 to 6 p.m. Join all the cool kids who want an eclectic look at the news without all the filters of the evil scoundrels of social media and the despicable dorks of the dominant press. Don't bumble and stumble. Subscribe to IE Newswire on Rumble and roll with the best hillbilly hoedown around. That's it. If you want to buy American, go to PatriotSwitch.com. If you need a new Subaru, Toyota, go to one of Cliff Cummings Freight dealerships at San Bernardino Auto Mall at the 10 and 215 Freeways. Don't forget I-10 Toyota down in the lower desert. Well, it's starting off as a fun week. Again, as the opposition research gets on Kamala Harris, as it gets on in the Moreno Valley School bond, if Riverside City College is going to try another bond, you know, they lost that one, 45%. You got to pick up 10 points on that from 2020. And whatever else is coming down the pike, we got our local elections, presidential elections, state legislatures, Congress, senates, governors, sewer cleaning commissioners, my favorite. I wonder if there is really a sewer cleaning commission in the United States. I wouldn't bet against it. There's a commission or a committee or something on just about everything. So I'm sure there's probably, I don't know, Timbuktu, Idaho or something of the sewer cleaning commission. Be interesting to find out if there really is one. Oh boy, gotta have some fun or a little laughter anyway, else your head will really explode, and that would not look too cool, especially on live TV, especially if it was mine. I would take umbrage with of that. That'll do it for today, but as we usually say at this time, mandatory, you're back here in 23 hours wide to hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The preceding was a paid program.
All right, Roy, take it easy.
You got it.
Give Mitch a call if you can.
Yeah, I will.
And don't forget to look at that link that I sent you on Facebook, that video link, because it is eye-opening.
Where did you send it in Messenger?
I sent it, yeah, in Facebook.
Okay.
On yours, not in the group one, but just in yours. It's a really, really detailed video of the Marxist connection of Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Very detailed.